Right, today I'm going to show you my Webley and Scott MARK3 Supertarget. Now this was the Target version, obviously, of the Webley MARK3. And these were fitted with much heavier barrels than the standard MARK3, and also with a different front sight and a different rear sight. But other than that, the trigger and all the rest of it was basically exactly the same as a normal Webley MARK3. So I'll just show you some of the differences on this first. First thing you'll notice, it's got a ramped foresight that takes different elements with a little screw thread here, and you can fit all sorts of different elements into that sight. It's got a much heavier barrel. The barrels on the Supertargets were a lot heavier and ever so slightly longer as well. So they're slightly longer and much heavier. Normal underlever, exactly the same layout as a normal Webley MARK3, but just with this really big heavy barrel's the main difference, and the foresight. And then at the back they have no provision for the normal Webley rear sight. There's no provision for that at all. So normally on a MARK3, the rear sight would sit here. Well, there's nothing on that for that. And then it's got Supertarget on the top of the cylinder. And then we come to the rear sight. And as you can see, this is a Parker Hale 17B type peephole rear sight. Very intricate, well made little sight. Much better than the normal sight. And it's screwed onto the side of the cylinder. This is quite an early one. And you can tell that this is a fairly early Supertarget by a couple of things that point to it, as well as the obviously the serial number. But at a glance, some of the things that tell you it's an early one rather than a later one are, firstly, the loading tap. On the later ones, it was a sintered flat bar, like on my my MARK3. On this, it was a shaped loading tap. Also, the end cylinder has got a grooved serrated end cap, whereas on the later ones it was smooth. It's got a slightly differently shaped trigger guard as well. It slopes more forward. The trigger's different. The trigger's a different shape. The badge at the back has the Webley registered trademark part written on it, whereas later on they just switched over to just having this, just said Webley on it. This is an early one as well because this is brass, and on the later ones these were blued steel, and again it's got written on it Parker Hale, made in England. And the other thing, it has serrations on the inside of the cocking arm, and these again are not visible on later rifles. So those are all the things that point that this is an earlier version of the Supertarget rather than the more commonly seen ones that started to appear later on. These are an absolute class rifle. Superb quality again from Webley. In fact, this is probably, well, this is better quality than even the other Webley MARK3 that I've got. The stock finish is different as well on these. Instead of being a high gloss lacquered finish like it was on the later ones, it's an oiled or waxed finish. Still walnut, but a slightly different finish. These even, you know, the quality is spectacularly good. The bluing is deep, even. It's a great rifle to shoot. I love shooting this thing, even with the open peep sights. I'm not a very good shot with those sights, to be honest. My eyesight's not what it used to be. I wear contact lenses for range, long range, but also I now need to wear reading glasses for up close, so it's difficult to know what to go with, really. I either wear my glasses and have both the sights on the rifle perfectly clear, but the target blurred, or do it the other way around and have a perfectly clear target and slightly blurred sight. So it's difficult really for me to be a particularly good shot, but nonetheless still great fun. So I'll just show you that compared to my other Mark 3. So top one, standard Mark 3. And as you can see, barrel is slightly shorter. Not a lot, but slightly shorter. But the barrel is a fair bit thinner than the Supertarget barrel. Both these barrels slightly taper as well, and those tapers were hand cut, hand machined into these rifles. If you look at the fore end of the cocking lever on this one, you'll see that it's perfectly smooth. Those serrations have gone. You also see that the trigger guard is a different shape, and the trigger is a hardened sintered material, whereas on this it's a blued steel one. And the loading tap also is a sort of blunted off sintered one, rather than the rather more elegant lipped one on that rifle. And again, the badges, that's just got standard Webley written on it, and the finish of the stock is a gloss rather than this waxed finish. But nonetheless, beautiful rifles. Must admit, I do have a soft spot for the Webley Mark 3. I think it's one of the best made rifles ever produced. The engineering on them is incredibly good. Everything about them is just absolutely top quality. Beautiful, beautiful rifles. And I just love them. I think they're beautiful. Really top-notch bit of kit. Really well made. Proper British engineering at its finest. And I'm quite fortunate. I've got a pair of absolute beauties. I've had this one a long time. A long time. And again, a lovely rifle. But this is a new acquisition. And again, another absolute beauty. I got this from Bob at City Air Weapons. And oddly enough, this rifle actually has been in a video before. Bob, I believe, lent it to Tony Bellis to do the airgun chat thing that he did with the guy from Blackpool Air Rifles when they were releasing their videos. They had a video series on YouTube, and they actually reviewed this rifle that they borrowed from Bob. So there it is. What a stunning gun. Beautiful old thing. So there you go, two Webley Mark 3s. Supertarget and the standard one. Pair of absolutely stunning rifles.